Hey y'all, this is the introduction to polynomials. This is directly after monomial, so we're taking it one step up. A polynomial contains the sum or difference of one or more monomials. So all it is last unit we're working with individual monomials where we're multiplying one or more variables and constants, but this time polynomials has multiple monomials in it, adding and subtracting sum or difference of monomials, okay? Typically, a monomial or a polynomial looks something like this, ax to the k power, where a is a real number, and we also call that a coefficient, okay? It's telling us how many x to the k powers there are, okay? X is the variable. It could be any symbol or letter. Typically, we like to use X, Y, and Z a lot. A, B, C, any numbers, M, N. We don't like to use O because it looks like a zero, but any variable right there. And then K is typically positive or a negative number, so basically an integer there, okay? So that's what they really look like. And we'll have some more examples over here of how to identify a polynomial. All right, some more definitions, some words you need to know. A coefficient is the number in front of the variable, just like our a up there. And that's what helps me decide how many times that variable occurs. Okay, so we have x to the fifth power. If there's 3 in front of it, there's 3 x to the fifth powers. Okay. The next word here is our leading coefficient, the first coefficient of the polynomial. Okay, so the leading coefficient is the one out in the very front, the first one of the polynomial. All right. Now this is very, very important, this vocabulary word, standard form. Okay, and this must be done every single time. You must write your polynomial from highest degree to lowest degree. Okay, and we'll talk about degrees here in a second, but to be able to identify a polynomial and look at all of its parts, you need to be writing it in standard form every single time. So you need to look at your polynomial, decide, is this in standard form or not? If not, rewrite it in standard form before you do anything with it, okay? And then the degree, you add the exponents if there's more than one variable, okay? So I have a couple examples over here. We're going to talk about how to find the degree of something, all right? And it's pretty easy, so we'll get to it. Now, a polynomial is a broad name. There's two other names that we talk about a little bit more in detail, and that's a binomial and a trinomial. Okay, a binomial, think of English class when you talk about bi, that means two, right? So a polynomial with two different monomials, all right? So we can classify a polynomial as specific as a binomial. Same thing with a trinomial. The tri is 3, so it's a polynomial with 3 different monomials, all right? And then if you have 4, 5, 6 after that, we just classify it as a polynomial, okay? All right, so I have two examples here. What I'm going to ask you to do is to look at it, make sure it's written in standard form first, okay? Then you want to identify all the coefficients. What are the coefficients? What are we looking for? And then we also need to identify the leading coefficient. We need to look for its degree, and then classify it as a polynomial, binomial, or trinomial. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what the degree is of each monomial. Okay. So what you do is you say, all right, we have 6x to the fourth minus y plus 4x cubed y squared. Okay. This is broken up into a monomial here, a monomial here, and a monomial here. So that is broken up into 3 monomials, all right? So we need to find out the degree of each individual one and which one is the largest, okay? So the degree of this is you count the exponents. So the degree would be 4 of this monomial, all right? Now, y, remember, it doesn't have an exponent, but the understood exponent is 1. So this has a degree of 1, okay? And then this has a degree of 3 plus 2 because we add them up if in the individual monomial to find the total degree. So 3 plus 2 is 5, okay? So this has the highest degree. Therefore, if we write it in standard form, it needs to go first, correct? So 4x to the third y squared, okay? And then which one's next? This one has a degree of 4, so this one's next, plus 6x to the fourth, and then minus y. So we just reorder the things around. You can actually do additive inverse here, and that reassures that all of these things are commutative, okay? So this is now written in standard form. Now we can identify all those things, the coefficients, the leading coefficients, and the degree, and then what it is. So I think we already decided that it's broken up into three monomials, so that makes it a trinomial. Okay, you look at the degrees and you pick the highest one. Okay, so the one that's in the front has a degree of 5. That means this trinomial has a degree of 5. Okay, also you can conclude, sometimes instead of saying trinomial, they'll ask you, how many terms does this have? Well, since a trinomial, it has 1, 2, 3 terms. Okay, so we know it's a trinomial, it has a degree of 5, it has 3 terms. And now we need to identify the coefficients, okay? The coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables, okay? So my coefficients, we'll just abbreviate, are 4, 6, and then what is understood in front of this? Of -1. Okay, so those are my coefficients. And then my leading coefficient, I like to abbreviate LDG, COEF, is the one that's out front after it's written in standard form, and that is 4. Okay? All right, here we go. Another example. This is a polynomial, okay, broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monomials. So it's bigger than bi and tri. So we simply just say it's a polynomial. Sorry. All right, how many terms does it have? We just decided that it has 5 terms. Okay, we need to figure out the degrees here. Now, this b doesn't have an exponent, but it's an understood 1, so that means that this monomial right here has a degree of 3. Okay, this right here has 3 and 1, which has a degree of 4. A, which is just 1. 6, it doesn't have any variable with it, so since it doesn't have a variable with it, the degree is 0. And then B, 2 B's and 1 C, that gives it a degree of 3. Okay, so we need to rewrite this in standard form because this one is the largest, correct? All right, so negative A cubed B. All right, and then we have 2 that have 3, which is okay. Typically, I like to go in alphabetical order, so I'll pick this one first because it has the most A's. Plus 4A squared B. All right, and then plus 3B squared C. And then this one, minus 3A plus 6. Okay, so this is now written in standard form. Now I can do the rest of it, all right? So, make sure we see this right here. Sorry. Okay, what is the degree? My highest one, which was this one, so my degree is 4. Okay, what are my coefficients? We have this right here. What's understood in front of that? A -1. We have a 4. We have a 3. We have a -3. And 6 is not considered a coefficient. 6 isn't in front of any variable. So we consider 6 as a constant. Okay? 6 is considered a constant. And then the last thing you need to know, what is my leading coefficient? And that is the one out front, and we already decided that one is -1. Okay, so this is how you look at polynomials and decide, sort of kind of break it down and decide all its parts, okay? In our next videos, we're going to be learning how to add, subtract, and multiply polynomials, which will be, you need to know this before you can move on. All right, thank you.